Hey everyone, my name's Kris, and on this channel we talk Kanye West, and sometimes those conversations are fun, academic, excited, and other times those conversations are a bit more serious, which, today's one of those conversations. Kanye took to Twitter earlier in the day, and things started off, I guess, a little bit mysteriously and not dramatic. And then, as you can probably see from some of these tweets, escalated to the point that has a lot of people concerned. And it's a very, I guess, hard topic to get around because if you start going down the mental health route and that this is a manic episode and that he needs help, you have people that really say like that's absolutely what's going on, but then you have people that'll come out and say he's just being himself and he's getting labeled this. Not every person that has a diagnosis every time they do something is having an episode, and this is unfair to treat Kanye that way. And so if you go down that route, you have people saying how can you ignore the mental episode, and if you go down the mental episode route, you have people saying how can you claim everything is the mental episode. It's kind of a catch-22. To me, the big difference, because I'm not somebody that's bipolar, I don't have anybody in my life that has been diagnosed bipolar, so I don't really have any experience with it. But it seems that Kim, Kris Jenner, and others in Kanye's circle have grown to that level of concern where they think it's something that needs medical intervention. And I think when that's happening, like the wife of this man is thinking that he needs medical attention, that's probably the time where it's safe to go down that path of the conversation. So we're going to be looking at that today and getting into some of these tweets that Kanye had. So Yeezy Bound and Control Plus Art both had tweets collected as Kanye has deleted a number of the tweets. And you can see here that it started out with him putting up photos of Halle Berry and Jennifer Lawrence, which people were a bit confused about. And just because why Halle Berry, why Jennifer Lawrence? Okay, both are actors. One's a black woman, one's a white woman. And Kanye even followed that up with a link to the video by Michael Jackson, Black or White. So it seemed that he was making a point to that end. And he had the scratchy face emoji, as I can scroll down here and show that. I'm going to make sure that this showed. Yeah, okay. And the initial response to it was people thinking that maybe he was commenting on the fact that Halle Berry's page had news about her and Jennifer Lawrence's just showed that she's an actress. Like it just went right to the Wikipedia thing. So maybe he was talking about how the media looks at this black woman as opposed to the white woman. We're kind of throwing our hands up into that, but it led then into these tweets about Kris and Kim in the movie Get Out, which kind of muddies the water about, it doesn't seem like he was making a point about the media and these women so much as gearing up to what he said next. At least that's how I'm taking it now in hindsight. That there's maybe some kind of connection to make, but I don't know what that is at the time or right now. But you see him say, Kris, don't play with me, and this refers to Kris Jenner, the mom of Kim Kardashian. You and that Calmye are not allowed around my children. Y'all tried to lock me up. So Calmye is a title that Kanye gave to himself when Wash Us in the Blood came out. He talked about people wanting him to be a Calmye, and that's not Kanye. And I think he even talked about it again recently, saying that he's not Calmye. Like just setting up this dichotomy between this version of him who is calmer either through medication or just through control versus Kanye and who he really is and him just being himself and everything that entails. So he's saying you and that Calmye are not allowed around my children, being like, I'm going to be my authentic self around my children and you're not allowed around them either. Y'all tried to lock me up. And that line's really kind of the tipping point, because people for the last couple weeks have been wondering if Kanye was building up or in the midst of a manic episode that was going to continue to build up. And, people felt very confident that way. They felt very confident the other way. I did have somebody that, I'm not going to say who, but somebody that's a little bit more high profile. Like, I feel like if I said the name, you'd know them and be like, oh, I respect their opinion. Tell me that they have family that is bipolar, and that this episode mimics a lot of what their family member goes through, specifically even taking to social media or Twitter more often when an episode is coming on. Kanye had been off of Twitter for a long time before the last couple of weeks really coming back to it and speaking out more and more on the platform. So in the build up to his rally this week, the Forbes interview already had people concerned, but we couldn't really hear what Kanye was saying. We didn't know if how he was saying it was fine. It was just how it was written, or the presentation of it on Forbes was more concerning or not more concerning. And then the rally in South Carolina yesterday had a lot of people concerned as well, which, again, it was one of those things where he's yelling this whole time because there's no microphones. So even the fact that Kanye yelling at a room full of people, I think even in the best of times would have people saying like, oh, he's clearly having an episode, just because it's somebody that's been labeled mentally ill yelling. And then he cried over being the thought of what if his mom had had an abortion, which he talked about, or if he had had Kim have an abortion and what that would have entailed, just him never existing, the loss of North. And I get why he cried at that. That's incredibly emotional to think through. Like, I cry about everything, like every movie, commercial, like I just cry a lot. And even thinking about it's making me like kind of tear up, putting myself in that position of thinking about how much emotion must come with that. So, but at the rally, there was still a lot that concerned people. And then for that to kind of be the tipping point then, and I'm sure that Kim had spoken to Kanye before after seeing things behind the scenes. I mean, they know Kanye at this point better than almost anybody, right? So the fact that they tried to have medical intervention is just a really telling sign. So he goes on to say, everybody knows the movie Get Out is about me. And when he first tweeted this, I didn't really think much of it. We've heard him talk about being in the sunken place before, and relating it to the fact that he had felt as part of the simulation that he was being controlled by monolithic thoughts and what everybody was telling him he had to do or had to say or how to speak. He was relating to feeling imprisoned by culture, not by his family. Where the meme got started about Kanye being in sunken place mostly applied to him being in the Kardashian family and marrying into that family. Kanye had never acknowledged that. And Kim had also been really annoyed by those memes, even talking about it in a Vogue interview, saying how stupid it was. I think she even like swore. She's like, it's so fucking stupid. So for Kanye to eventually get into this dispute with Kim and Kris in these tweets, for him to say everybody knows the movie Get Out is about me, it feels more personal this time. That he's not talking about how he feels in the sunken place because of society and culture, but he feels like the character Kris and being brought into the house by his girlfriend Rose, which is really like, I gotta imagine hurtful for like his wife to hear. But I also feel like he's probably in a situation right now where he's feeling very angry and upset because it seems like Kim and the kids are currently in Los Angeles while Kanye is out in Wyoming. And that separation is definitely something that would, I think, send most parents in the best of times into a bit of a, I don't know, a tizzy, so to speak. So we have those tweets, and then he says, I put my life on the line for my children, that North's mother would never sell her sex tape. Typo there. But I think just saying he's earning money, so Kim would never have to sell her sex tape in order to make more money, because what happens, God forbid, if everything that she's doing were to dry up, et cetera, though she just hit $1 billion as well. So I don't think her money is going away anytime soon. But Kanye just feeling like he is doing things that he's doing to provide for his family. And so Kim doesn't have to do things that she doesn't want to do. And then he goes on to say, I put my life on my God that North's mom would never photograph her doing Playboy, and that's on God. I'm at the ranch, come and get me. Which 2007, Kim did a photo shoot for Playboy. It wasn't fully nude. It was revealing, but it wasn't like a full nude spread. But I don't know if that's, again, referring to that and just saying Kim was in a spot before like we were together where she had to do things like that. And now she's not. And that's why I do this. So she would never have to do anything like that. But then saying, I'm at the ranch, come and get me, feels more challenging to Kris, who he had talked about before, as we said, y'all tried to lock me up. Then he says Drake with the scratchy face, which seems like he might be about to say something about Drake or call Drake out. Come and get me. This is the Exodus, like Pusha said. I don't know what that refers to. I don't know if it's a Pusha line song, which forgive me if I'm not like completely up to date or have memorized Pusha T's discography, but yeah, it seems like he's just saying, I'm in Wyoming, here, come get me. On God, Shia is Cap, which now going after, I didn't know what he meant at first by this, but he says later on, you can see Shia was supposed to do the first Yeezy Gap shoot and he never showed up. So a little bit of a gap in the context, but that's what he was saying. But down here, more important, Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up with a doctor. Yeah, so again, Kim was going to get on a plane, it seems, to go out to Wyoming with a doctor to have Kanye hospitalized, I guess, or at least be seen by a physician. And he's taking it that they were going to have him locked up the way that they did in 2016. Even in 2016, I believe it was said that cops had to come and restrain Kanye in order to get him to go to the hospital because he just didn't want to do that. If I get locked up like Mandela, y'all will know why. So, if you see him getting hospitalized again, you know that it's because his family came after him, I guess. Shia was supposed to do the first Yeezy Gap shoot and he never showed up. Anna Winter always showed me love, but when I told her I was going to Gap, she looked at me like I was crazy. Then she called back, kissing my ass. Anna Winter is somebody that Kanye, I think, has long had a positive relationship with. He actually used her in the famous wax figure bed that's now become infamous. She's very powerful. So Kanye just kind of like calling her out is something where you're just like, by all means, call her out, but you just kind of, especially when you feel that this is a manic episode, you just kind of hope that this doesn't blow back on him negatively in the way that it maybe could if you upset someone like Anna Winter. Kris and Kim call me now, he then says. It seems like they weren't calling him. He wasn't able to get a hold of them, which he says in a little bit. Going to the next tweets. Not going to the next tweets. Here we go. Shia's Cap. Kris and Kim call me now. Okay. Then you see here Kanye tweeting to Kris Jenner with this yay, you ready to talk now, or are still avoiding my calls? So it seems like he's been trying to reach Kris and trying to reach Kim, and they just aren't responding to him, which I don't know if that's kind of a power move, like they're waiting to respond on their terms or what's going on, but definitely feels that there's a disconnect between them right now. And then you can see Kanye had tweeted out this other picture, West children will never do Playboy, West. And you can see him with his kids, which I guess just bringing the kids into it, I think inherently is kind of a sad thing. And I guess this would get back to the fact that Kim did a Playboy shoot. There were people speculating that maybe Kim was trying to do like an interview with Playboy right now that involved the family, and Kanye was freaking out about that. It read to me more so that Kanye, as he's kind of calling out Kris and calling out Kim, is just saying like, hey, Kris, I would never let my kids do something like that. So it's seeming a bit more pointed, but that's just how I took it. And then we have here, he says righteous indignation, and you can kind of see he had some typos, crisis indignation, but just bringing up the definition of righteous indignation, and I guess saying that that's what he's feeling right now. And then, I love my wife. My family must live next to me, which, it's good that he's, with as much negative stuff as he said, or frustrated stuff that he said regarding Kim so far, just to say I love my wife is good. My family must live next to me. There's been tension since he bought the property in Wyoming about the fact that Kim didn't necessarily want to leave Los Angeles or live in Wyoming. And the kids have this entire time split their time between LA and Wyoming, with Kanye spending an increasing amount of time in Wyoming. So it seems that he's kind of drawing a line in the sand here, just saying my family must live next to me. It's not up to E or NBC anymore. Which I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. E's the network that Keeping Up with the Kardashians is on. I imagine they would prefer the show stay in Los Angeles, just because that's where it's always been. It's more exciting than Wyoming. Sorry, Wyoming. But I imagine that that's probably been a reason why the family won't move, is just we have a show that we film. We're here. We need to be here for the show. And Kanye kind of calling that out. Or maybe they don't care at all, and Kanye's just feeling like they are a problem right now and calling them out. He then goes on to say NBC locked up Bill Cosby. I don't necessarily know what that's about. I saw people in comments saying that there's a theory that apparently Bill Cosby was interested in buying NBC when they were selling the company a number of years back. And because of that, NBC leaked that Bill Cosby had all of these sexual assaults, or at least brought up that Cosby had all of these sexual assaults. So there's a whole theory that Cosby actually didn't do anything, that he was set up with these things, that's et cetera, et cetera. But I think from how many victims that there were that came forward, that it's just Bill Cosby was shitty, and we didn't know he was shitty for a long time. And then we finally held him accountable. But Kanye going with the theory that NBC locked up Bill Cosby, which is, problematically defensive of Bill Cosby. And then saying, Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up, like on the movie Get Out, because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday. And this was the last thing, at least up until this point. Oh no, he just tweeted again. Okay, he just tweeted, I'm a focus on the music now, which we're still supposed to have an album come out like in 4 days. So the fact that I don't know if that's going to happen, but he's saying I'm a focus on the music now rather than focus on everything else. I don't know if that means that there's been some kind of resolution to what has happened, that Kris or Kim called him and that they were able to work something out that's gotten him to feel like he can do that, or he just kind of spent whatever frustration he was feeling and now is going to the music. I don't know necessarily how we should read that, but that's better at least. But back to this tweet specifically, because I feel like there's a lot to unpack. I don't know. Let me bring it back up. Okay. So Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor. He had said that previously, to lock me up like on the movie Get Out. So in context, again, I don't know if this recontextualizes what he had said earlier. Everybody knows the movie Get Out's about me. If this is just Kanye saying bringing the doctor and trying to get me locked up is me and Get Out. And that's what he's kind of saying. So not as dramatic as claiming the Kardashians are like the family and Get Out, but just saying that if you're trying to put him into a medical facility, that's like Get Out. That'd be a little better, but still, does a little better really matter? Because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday. And that could be, this is one of those things where like you could take that at face value and think like, how could anybody think that him crying at such a topic is a sign that there's mental illness, which I do get that. I don't think that in and of itself, because I cry so often at things, like I always have, that like I hope people don't think I'm having like a mental health episode every time I cry at something. But I would counter with the fact that Kim has been through Kanye with so much, or been with Kanye through so much, that it's probably more than just that. And we're just thinking or hearing that that's the point that Kanye is giving us. But if we were to hear from Kim and about why she's concerned and why other people close to Kanye, like Kris Jenner, are concerned, it would probably make more sense to us. Because I think already from people zooming out and looking at the last couple of weeks, people are already concerned. And it's not just the crying that was the thing that did it. It's just everything. It's everything. And that's kind of where we're at. I don't know what happens next. If we're going to be waiting for a headline saying that, you know, there was a call that came in and Kanye is like getting help, or if Kanye is going to have friends and family come out and kind of sit with him and work through things with him. We know in 2018 that Kanye got off his medication, but was finding a lot of stability and stabilization through nature, through religion, through conversations with people, that he was able to treat his mental health with those things, which is something that other people have reported as well, that medication works for a lot of people, but not everyone. And for other people, they're able to use nature and meditation and other remedies that help keep them feeling in a stabilized place. So I don't know which direction Kanye will go, if any direction, and what we'll be hearing in the upcoming days. If this means we'll even get the album coming out on Friday. I'm less concerned about the album right now than I am just Kanye getting in a better place, because whether or not this is a mental health episode or not, it clearly shows that there's tension between him and his wife and the family that he's married into. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, was it just last week, he was talking about how he calls Kris Jenner mom and she calls him son. Like, that's a relationship that they have. And we know that Kim is this woman that he's been madly in love with for years leading up to them even dating. So for it to reach a place where he praises them so much, to then have this tension between them, whether that's mental health or not, it's just a sad situation that I wouldn't want to see anybody going through, much less, you know, somebody I admire and care about as much as Kanye. So I hope that we get a resolution to this that is like quick and happy for everybody, rather than continually dramatic or problematic. But as things unfold, we'll be back here on the channel to talk about them. And if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, I might just do a video responding to comments. So I think I might make a separate video asking people to ask questions, and we'll go over that. So look forward to that, which I'll record right after this. And that's it for today. Hope you all are doing well, and we'll talk soon. In the meantime, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.